So I've had the opportunity to play with ReelSteady Go 2 for the last couple of months now, and I am really excited about it. And in this video, I'm not going to try to draw any comparisons between this and any other stabilization platforms out there. I'm just simply trying to report to you my impression and my understanding of ReelSteady 2 and what I am and am not liking about it so far. So welcome to ReelSteady Go 2. It's actually built into the GoPro player now, and you can see that there's a bunch of different options and different exciting things that are happening in here. But the most obvious that you see here is open media. So I've pulled a couple different clips that I've recorded recently. First of all is this clip that I've filmed down in Phoenix with a couple guys just doing some mountain cruising. And you can see, I'm just going to do playback here, and you can see this is the unstabilized raw footage, no stabilization. I'm getting hit by his downwash, everything's rough. If I want to switch over to ReelSteady, click the ReelSteady button, wait a few seconds, and real-time playback. You've got the full ReelSteady clip. You don't have to wait. You don't have to do anything. It doesn't play back slowly or anything. It's just already playing back in ReelSteady. Now, I shot this with ND filters on, so there's a little bit of motion blur and stuff happening that's not as good looking. But one thing that I noticed about this clip early is that I don't really like how the smoothing looks. So you can turn down the smoothing a little bit. I want it a little bit less so that it's a little bit wider field of view so it's not punched in so much, and boom, already done. Playback, full real-time playback. I'm able to see everything, see how it's looking, and I know exactly what it's going to look like, and I don't have to wait for all that slow blah blah blah. So the first thing that I am really excited about and really impressed with the new ReelSteady is that you get real-time playback. On top of that, you get a whole bunch of other settings, right? You can change the speed at which things crop, so you can make it really slow, and it's going to do that breathing over a wider period of time. But you might miss parts of the shot a little bit more, or you can do it really fast, and it's going to snap back and forth, and it's going to keep up with the action, but it's going to look less smooth. And you can do less or more lens correction, so like we'll crank up the lens correction, and you know, so it does that weird stuff like that. You can see that the action in the center is staying the shape. Somehow it's flipped it upside down. I'm not sure why that is, but we could flip it around this way. And now it's a little bit more linear. It's a little bit like more standard, but again, you have a much narrower field of view. So I typically left it mostly right in the middle and just let it kind of be the normal ReelSteady look. I don't know if this is a fact, but from what I can tell, the algorithm that they've used has changed around a little bit, and it looks to me to be a lot smoother in a way. Like it's kind of more like ooh, where ReelSteady used to kind of breathe and then suck in and then breathe and suck in as it kind of did that cropping. I think this does it a little bit more gracefully, so I'm really excited. I hadn't done many chase footage flights with this guy before, so I had to really kind of to keep up with him. So those two things are really good. Next thing that's really cool is that you can batch export. So if you click the batch export button, you can add this clip to thing. It's already got everything. And then, so now I want to put this clip in here as well. So now I've got two things ready to go. And I can change each setting of it, right? So I can change the bitrate. I can change the, whatever output type, which we'll come back to in a second. All that stuff. So the batch exporter is awesome because you can set them all up to go. Now, one thing that is super cool about ReelSteady Go is how quickly you can export. So I've already got my settings. This is a 5-minute clip. I'm going to go in here and just say export. And I'm going to do, there's options, right? You can do Cineform. You can do HVEC, which is H.265 or H.264 at the max bitrate. I like the HVEC. That's fine for me. Hardware encoding. So it uses my graphics card, which is great. Or you can just do simple options and then just boom. Next, you get to be able to place it where you want it, which you couldn't do in ReelSteady before. It would just put it right next to the original footage. So now you can actually have a destination. So I'm going to say mountain flight chase smoothed and export. So I'm going to let this play in real time for a second because it is so much faster than it used to be. So we're at 4, 5, 6%, and that is just so much faster. Like before with ReelSteady, you would have to wait for freaking forever for your clip to render, especially if you were on, like, for example, an M1 MacBook or you had Apple Silicon. This works just as fast as it is here on my computer with my 1080 Ti as it does right on the Apple Silicon. So that is also super amazing. The next cool thing that GoPro players slash ReelSteady Go 2 does is that you can use it on top of previously stabilized footage. So this clip here I shot in western Massachusetts uses hypersmooth, so you can tell that it's already got a little bit of stabilization on top of it. What I can do is actually open that in ReelSteady, keep ReelSteady stabilization on, and now it's going to stabilize it with hypersmooth already having been applied. Now, I don't know why you do this, but you can. So, but because this was filmed in 16:9 and not in 4:3, there's a lot less room for it to crop in, so it definitely punches it in. So, like, you can see that it's zoomed in, but it's got that ReelSteady look, that ReelSteady smoothness. So, like, you know, for really, these really flippy, floppy things, definitely not ideal, but there's some moments in here where, you know, I kind of cruise up and along the river. This sort of thing is where it's actually going to work because you're not doing as much of that really snappy, annoying, and uncontrolled movement. You know, and you can see that, you know, obviously it has to crop in to do that. So I still recommend shooting 4:3, 16 or instead of 16:9 for when you're trying to do ReelSteady, but it is possible to kind of pull some moments out of those clips if that's something you need to do. Another thing that is really positive to me is that it's really easy speed of use to do it right. I'm just clicking this clip. ReelSteady is already applied. I can just go in here, make sure that my settings are right. Yep, they look good. Do some playback, make sure it's looking good. Oh yeah, magic. That's what I want to see. File. I can even do Control E. Export settings are up. HVAC. Next. Pick the place I want it to go. Save. And exporting. So for guys that have to export a lot of footage really fast, that's really valuable, right? So like, I'm going to go back and look at, for example, this is a local shoot that I did for a dog kennel, which they wanted to do. And we have, you know, freaking 40 clips that we shot over the course of an entire day, and it takes a long time to go through all of that footage with the traditional ReelSteady. But here, I can literally just batch process all of them, have it all done, and because of how much faster it renders on hardware encoding or with Apple Silicon, it just friggin' crunches through it, and I'm done in an hour, and I can deliver it to the client. I can even potentially deliver it to the client on set. I did one shoot not that long back. I can't say who it was for, but I sat in the airport lounge with ReelSteady Go 2 on my MacBook Air, this thing, which is not even a good MacBook. Like, it's like the bottom end MacBook right now. And I had everything, all of my like 40 or 50 clips from that day stabilized in ReelSteady and uploaded on the super fast Wi-Fi in the airport lounge before my flight took off. Now, I had a little bit longer of a layover, but like that sort of stuff, that kind of ease of use, that quality of life sort of stuff is what I have been blown away with the new GoPro player slash ReelSteady Go 2. So yeah, the final thing that I'll say is that, you know, this is obviously a test version of this. It's a beta version. It's not fully integrated. I'm sure that there will be different things for like the hypersmooth stabilization, as well as, for example, we didn't play with horizon leveling, which is not currently working in this version, but there are tons of options and stuff like that that the team is continuing to work on. And they keep sending out updates and advice and information really often, so I'm excited to see what they've done. I love the look out of ReelSteady Go 2. It definitely looks different than ReelSteady 1. I'll have this clip rendered with ReelSteady Go 2 as well as with ReelSteady Go 1, so you can kind of see the side-by-side and how they look a little bit different, so you can kind of see a sense of like what I'm talking about with it. But yeah, for the convenience features, for the quality of life features, for professionals especially that are trying to crank out like a ton of different clips, the speed at which this operates is so good, and I'm so excited for it. So I just wanted to kind of report like a first look at like what we're seeing with the new ReelSteady Go 2. I know that this is not a comprehensive overview of everything that's going on. I don't fully understand all of the settings and all of the different things that I can do, but I wanted to give you the chance to take a look at what's coming in the world of ReelSteady, because I'm really excited about what it means for me when I'm able to be on set or just after set and I need to crank through a bunch of footage and send it back out to somebody who needs to have that stabilized. So I hope that this was at least somewhat informational to you. I'm really excited to share what we've been able to kind of play with behind the scenes for the last couple months. I'm really excited about what the potential is for this, and I hope that you guys stay fun.